He has hit me once.
Once only?
Yeah.
Only once, huh? So it means it's not a very serious matter.
Hi guys, this is what reality can sound like for women in Islam, subject to Sharia, the Islamic law. They can't have as many husbands as men can have wives. They're not allowed to keep male sex slaves. The daughter, unfortunately, inherits only half of what the son inherits. Female witnesses are worth only half, and a male accusing his wife of adultery requires 4 witnesses. Or, well, how convenient, he can swear 4 times by himself. Same thing. But beating a woman only once is not a big deal. But I wonder how many times becomes a big deal? Something worth addressing. Is it 2 or 15 or 150 times, or maybe twice a day? Well, we get the very clear indication that women are tilth, sex objects and incubators, there to produce more Muslims. This is not my invention or interpretation, but that of Muslims such as Yasser Arafat. Humans in the real world have developed laws to make the coexistence of different personalities just and governed by clear and precise rules. And this has taken some 6,000 years. But while our judicial system is far from perfect, it is a system designed to treat people equally. Unfortunately, in the 21st century, we do find that our laws are being abused by unscrupulous people and corporations on the one, and religious zealots on the other hand, striving for personal advantages. Religious zealots want to base their rules on an invisible, unproven entity. An invisible, unproven entity which is said to have authored a book which actually nowhere says Muslims need to pray 5 times a day, or women must cover their entire bodies except for hands and face. But humans did. These humans, well, men to be exact, claim that they know exactly what the invisible, unproven God would have wanted, and have created laws around what they claim the invisible, unproven entity would want. Why should there be a legal system within a legal system? Now, according to my observations, a Muslim feels that if anyone doesn't agree with their rituals and actions based on these interpretations, they can be persecuted, deceived, misled, slandered, and even killed, depending on what is to be achieved. Anything not found in the Quran or the sayings of Muhammad can be rejected, and an alternate reality can be built up. A woman in Australia who was led to believe that her behavior was in line with what Islam dictates was wearing a full body veil while driving a car in Australia. She resented being stopped for a routine check or a minor traffic violation by a policeman and resorted to false accusations, lying and subsequent special pleading when her blatant and outright lies and false accusations were uncovered.
First to this extraordinary story involving a burqa-clad Muslim mother of 7 and a dispute with a police officer. Race, religion, bigotry and the truth were all under the microscope today as Carnita Matthews was sentenced to 6 months in jail for making a false complaint about a police officer.
Okay.
All cops are racist.
Okay.
I'm telling you now, you are racist.
You're actually going to say anything other than just keep on abusing me?
No,
I'm trying to explain.
you are abusing me.
Just listen.
You are abusing me.
Carnita Matthews, guilty as charged, but out of jail for now.
Do you have anything to say about the sentence?
Is it unfair, do you think?
You don't go lying about people. You don't go making up stories, and you certainly don't go grabbing on racism just to try to get your way.
And I don't appreciate being called racist because you didn't read something properly and you're not doing the right thing. Okay.
Carnita Matthews didn't like being pulled over for a random breath test 5 months ago, believing she'd been targeted for wearing a burqa.
Say you are racist because when you just looked at me and you see me with the niqab on, you could see something happen to you. You couldn't handle it.
She didn't like being asked to reveal her face to Senior Constable Paul Fogarty, telling him she wasn't allowed.
100% gonna take it with you. 100%.
There we go.
100%.
Okay, but the thing is, I'll try to explain to you.
100% gonna take it to court.
And a magistrate said she became verbally hysterical when she got a ticket for incorrectly displaying her P plates.
You know you are giving me a ticket for crap.
Okay, go back, sit in your car. If you choose to take that to court, you'll be wasting the court's time.
She told the officer it was crap and accused him 5 or 6 times of being a racist, saying to him, "You're going to be in trouble, 100%.
if it was upheld, that would seriously damage his whole professional role in the police force.
She even went to the media with her false accusation.
It actually felt like he actually touched my veil, and I pulled back.
But it was what she did next that landed her in big trouble. She made a formal complaint in a statutory declaration that the officer had acted in a racist manner and had even tried to rip off her veil.
It is unfair, and it's the ugliest accusation you can make.
Fortunately, it's all there on the patrol car video, or, put more accurately, not there.
Thankfully, there was a camera in the back of the car that actually filmed the whole thing, or that officer would be skewered.
What makes her story really rich is that in court, her lawyer Stephen Hopper argued it wasn't her who made the false complaint to police. He argued that because she couldn't be seen under her burqa and no one checked her ID, it may not have been her.
Now she's trying to say, no, it was another person wearing the burqa, her twin.
Oh, the lawyer's very clever. It's game playing. And I think the magistrate recognised this quite early.
Magistrate Robert Ravage said the evidence it was her was overwhelming. He is the hero of talkback for calling her crime malicious and ruthless and a cheap and easy shot. He sent her to jail for 6 months. She was out this afternoon on bail and ready to appeal. Kazar Trad from the Islamic Friendship Association of Australia says she shouldn't go to jail for the sake of her 7 children.
I wasn't in the court, but sometimes judges like to make an example of people, and it certainly feels that this is a case where compassion might have been a much better received outcome.
Why?
Well, we're talking about a lady who has a number of children, family commitments.
Because I got my key plates on.
The judge said that she had been malicious and ruthless about the police officer's life.
Well, look...
she didn't show compassion for him.
We're talking about compassion for the children.
Fairness is a two-way issue here.
Radio 2GB's Jason Morrison doesn't buy it, saying she was prepared for the policeman to pay a high price.
A dent on his reputation of an accusation of racism, you're never clear. It ruins a career.
Fred Nile says there's one obvious solution.
I believe this is now proving a strong case for a total ban on wearing a burqa.
And he has plenty of support.
That's our culture. I can look at you, you can look at me. That's how it works.
Carnita Matthews will go to the district court to appeal the sentence.
I think justice has been served, and I think this is a major wake-up for a lot of people who think this is an issue that is just going to walk away. This is not.
This case proves my argument. We must be an open-faced society.
Fine. Okay.
I'm going to take
Drive
you, and
safely.
you're going to be in trouble.
Okay.
100%.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Islamic leaders said today that it is permissible for women to reveal their face to a policeman when requested.
Now Learn About Islam has this video on his channel and has allowed me to use it. I want to show what happens when arrogant, obnoxious and really stupid people try to take advantage of a system for their own personal gain. This Muslim woman demands the right to wear clothing not part of the culture she has decided to live in. This Muslim woman, after committing perjury, wants to be treated differently than other humans. But based on what? Why should she be treated differently from other criminals? Does this Muslim woman have any moral standards? Does she care that her statement could have destroyed the life of an innocent man and his family? Did she feel justified to wrongly accuse another human of something totally, completely and utterly untrue? Is that a display of Islamic moral standards? This Muslim woman received a ticket for a minor traffic violation. And this gives her the notion and justification to destroy another person's life? And afterwards pleading for mercy because she has 7 children. Shouldn't she behave responsibly knowing she has 7 children at home? Is that why in an Islamic country such as Saudi she would not be allowed to drive at all? Would she call a policeman in Saudi racist as well if he were to give her a ticket? Would Sharia treat her differently for lying? Well, at least under the latest edition of Sharia in Egypt, she would know that her Muslim husband would be legally allowed to have sex with her after she's dead, but not longer than 6 hours. But this is what Sharia concerns itself with. In this real-world case, Technology and science has brought out the truth. But what if there had not been a camera? She would have cold-bloodedly let an innocent man take the blame for her false accusations and her lying fabrications. And afterwards, when the judge hands her the jail sentence, she still has the audacity or the stubbornness to appeal this sentence. And here she managed to wriggle out of this, using the public law of Australia, using her own standards and a display of Muslim morality, hiding behind Muslim traditions and Muslim culture, the veil, or burqa, niqab, whatever you want to call it. She doesn't seem to care that her egotistical, self-centered and selfish attitude has single-handedly managed to bring Australia one step closer to banning the burqa altogether. Well, I find this incredibly despicable and strongly resent all these claims of moral standards among religiously brainwashed people when there are Muslims, such as in this example, on this planet. I've had my own share of unpleasant surprises with the lies and deceptions of Muslims. When I went to buy some ice cream, and the driver of the car in front of me saw a girl walking along a side street. He stopped and quickly reversed straight into me. He was so mesmerized by a girl that probably wanted to show off in front of his buddies that he neglected to check behind him and never even heard my hooting. Personally, I've never heard of any girl hearing whistles and hooting, getting into the car with the guys for a sex session, but these juvenile Muslims seem to think that this was the best course of action. And he accused me of running into him, and both his buddies agreed. They confirmed they were Muslims when I asked them, and when I told them that they were not supposed to lie according to the Quran, they were remarkably unimpressed. When the cops came, they repeated their story, and I would have taken the rap. But this was my wife's car, luckily, which I had fitted with one of these camera sensors. The Muslims did not hear my conversation with the cops when I told them I could bring visual and database evidence, and they repeated over and over that it was me who had run into them. Well, the next day I went to the cop station. I brought a stick with a video on the GPS and the G-force records, and never heard anything about this ever again. The insurance paid for the repairs and all costs, so it was done. But what if I did not have this technical gadget? Would the morality of the Muslims who cheated, deceived and lied have led them to eventually confess and act responsibly, or would they have let me take the rap and the costs? You decide. Thanks for your time.